As a dietitian, I even have to admit that nutrition is really confusing. But why is that? I think the reason why is because there is over 7 billion of us. And yes, we share 99.9% of our genes with each other. That 0.1% is huge. Plus, when our environment interacts with our genes, that even accounts for even more individuality. But the problem with nutrition is we listen to nutrition facts that is written for the mass audience. So with over 7 billion people, there is not one dietary strategy that's going to work for everybody. So when we're listening to these mass messages, no wonder why we are so confused. So I think that's the root of all of our myths. And in this video, we're going to be talking about exactly that. And I'm going to share with you the 6 common myths I see in my practice. These are the questions that I get asked pretty much on a daily basis, and I want to share them with you. So let's bust some myths. Myth number 6, everyone should take a multivitamin. As long as you are eating a balanced whole food diet, you definitely do not need a multivitamin. But if I could offer you one tip, it would be make sure you're eating a variety of colors. So every single color gives you something different when it comes to vitamins and minerals. So you definitely want to make sure that you're not eating the same fruit or the same vegetable 3 times a day, every single day, every week. So definitely get some variety in there, and I promise you, you're going to hit all the vitamins and all the minerals that you need. Plus, our bodies recognize the vitamins and minerals through food way more than they do when it comes in a supplement. The other thing with supplements is you have to be really careful because there's some not so good for you supplements out there. And what I mean by that is the non-medicinal ingredients that they use to kind of fill the capsule or fill the tablet are not necessarily the best ingredients that you want to be putting in your body. So definitely check out the non-medicinal ingredients when you are choosing a vitamin, if you are going to be taking one. But if I could offer you one piece of advice, it would be just make sure you're eating a balanced whole food diet. Myth number 5 is that gluten is evil. Unless you have celiac disease, which is an autoimmune disease where gluten does actually cause damage to the small intestine, or you have a gluten sensitivity where you get bloated or upset stomach or diarrhea from it. But for everybody else, gluten is not evil. All gluten is, it's just a protein that's found in certain products that make it fluffy and soft and elastic, which is what you've come to love about certain bread products. The whole thing though with gluten is I think what it has opened up the conversation to is getting away from wheat. So wheat naturally does have gluten in it, but gluten is found in more products than just wheat. But I think we live in a very wheat-centered world where we wake up in the morning and we have cold cereal, which is wheat-based. And then for lunch, we might have a sandwich with bread, which again has wheat in it. And then for dinner, we're gonna have pasta, which again is wheat. So that would be kind of like eating the same fruit and vegetable every single day. So it'd be like eating a banana for breakfast, a banana for lunch, and a banana for dinner. So we're missing out on a lot of the nutrients that are found in other whole, slow-burning grains. So if you could take one thing away from this myth, it would be to incorporate more slow-burning grains into your diet that aren't necessarily wheat-based. So some of my favorite would be oats. You could do rye, barley, quinoa, rice, millet. There's a bunch of other whole slow-burning grains that are, some of them do have gluten like barley, but that are not wheat-based. Myth number 4 is that brown is always better. So think brown eggs, brown rice, brown bread, brown sugar. So brown doesn't necessarily always mean that it's better. Sometimes it does. Brown rice, if it's a long grain brown rice, would be better than a white rice or a short grain rice. And brown bread, if it's a sprouted whole grain bread, would definitely be better than a white bread. But don't always make that assumption. So a good example of this is brown sugar versus white sugar. So you can actually make the argument that brown sugar is more processed than white sugar, because what they do to make brown sugar is they just make white sugar and then add molasses back to it. Unless you're doing like a raw or a cane sugar that hasn't been as processed, but just the cheap sugar that you'll find in the grocery stores that's just for cooking, brown sugar, is pretty much identical to your white sugar, just with some added molasses. And the other one is the brown eggs. So I hear this a lot where people just automatically put brown is better, buy the brown eggs, just assuming they're gonna have a little bit more nutrition than the white eggs. But actually brown eggs are just because the chicken was not white. Typically the chicken tends to be red with brown eggs, so white chickens produce white eggs and brown chickens produce brown eggs. But your brown eggs aren't any more healthy or has no extra nutrition compared to your white eggs. Myth number 3 is that everybody needs to drink 8 glasses of water a day. Everyone needs to drink water a day, but not every single person needs exactly 8 glasses of water a day. Every body is so different. So I'm only 5 feet, but I tend to run hot. So I actually need to drink more than 8 glasses of water a day. And I've worked with people who are over 6 feet who can survive on 4 glasses of water a day. So it's really body dependent. So how do you know what your body needs? There are some simple tests that you can do to make sure that you are well hydrated. One of them is paying attention to your lips. So are your lips a little bit dry? What about your mouth? Do you find your mouth really dry? Or even if you're getting a slight headache, that might be a sign of dehydration. But the easiest tip to know if you need to drink a little bit more water is the color of your pee. Now, you don't need your pee to be the color of a piece of paper. That's just water literally going right through you. But you want the color of your pee to be kind of a nice Post-it note color. A little bit of yellow, but not totally concentrated or potent like it is probably first thing in the morning. So definitely drink some water. Please drink lots of water, but you probably don't need exactly 8 glasses of water a day. So myth number 2 is that eggs increase our cholesterol. It wasn't long ago that eggs were the enemy. Like we could only have 1 egg a week or all these crazy restrictions when it came to eggs. But I have to tell you, eggs are back in style and you can definitely have an egg every single day. Just to backtrack a little bit regarding this myth, so cholesterol-rich foods, which include things like eggs, dairy, turkey, fish, beef, all of those foods were once thought actually contributed to our blood cholesterol levels, particularly our LDL, which is our bad cholesterol. But what they found is that cholesterol-rich foods, so all those foods that we just listed, actually don't have an impact on our blood cholesterol. What does is lack of fiber. So what fiber does is fiber kind of goes into our body, absorbs all the extra cholesterol that's kind of floating around, and then we eliminate it. So if you don't have enough fiber in your diet, you're going to have all this extra cholesterol floating around. And cholesterol is actually really important. If you don't eat it, your body has to make it anyways. So every single one of your cells is actually surrounded by cholesterol. So definitely eat cholesterol, but you want to make sure that you're getting enough fiber in your diet. In particular, soluble fiber. That's the fiber that really gels and binds, that will collect all the excess cholesterol. If you want a good idea on how to get more soluble fiber into your diet, check out this video over here all about psyllium husks, which is the most amazing source of soluble fiber. And last but not least, the number one question I get asked almost on a daily basis, and it's the myth that I hear most frequently out there, is that soy is full of hormones. It's going to cause man boobs in men and cause all these different estrogen-based cancers in women. So this is a myth, which is amazing news. So I think to explain to you where this myth even came from, it's interesting to backtrack and learn a little bit about the science. So we know for a fact that estrogen-based cancers, such as ovarian cancer and breast cancer, is linked to estrogen. So scientists just made the assumption that plant-based sources of estrogen, such as tofu, soy foods, flax seeds, would actually react the same way in our body. causing those estrogen-based cancers. But what we know now is that phytoestrogens, which is the plant-based estrogens, is actually protective and protects our own body from our own estrogen, preventing the ovarian cancers and the breast cancers. So soy does not have tons of hormones. It will not create man boobs in men if they decide to eat soy products. But the one thing I would say about soy though, you want to make sure that you're eating whole soy foods. So that would be soy milk, edamame, tofu. You want to stay away from the soy protein isolates. What they've done there is they've just taken whole soy foods, isolated the protein, and concentrated it, and used those things in bars, in protein powders, in order to boost up the protein a little bit. The research on soy protein isolates is a little bit conflicted, not well known, and I think that's what's given soy the bad reputation. So definitely, if you can, stay away from the soy protein isolates and really up your soy whole foods. So that's it. Those are the 6 most common nutrition myths that I hear almost on a daily basis. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which nutrition tidbit do you hear in your travels that you might think needs busting, or you might actually need confirmed that there's some truth to it? Comment below and let me know, and stay tuned for a future video where I'll be featuring your myths that you want busted. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that as well. And I will see you guys next time.